Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Muhi Khwaja with the Muslim Philanthropy Podcast with American Muslim Community Foundation. Today on the show, we have Brother Hossam Fadel and Brother Mohammad Fadel from the Fadel Education Foundation. They've been nominated as an outstanding foundation or grant-making organization. Congratulations on the nomination. And Brother Hossam, why don't you introduce yourself and share where you're located?
My name is Hossam Fadel. I am in Augusta, Georgia. I am like a clinical professor at the Medical College of Georgia, but I'm retired now.
Wonderful. And Brother Mohammed?
Oh, I'm a professor of law at the University of Toronto Faculty of Law. I've been here since 2006, but I grew up in Augusta, Georgia.
And he
Wonderful.
is my son, right? Yeah, so yeah, because someone may think that he's my brother or something. No, he's my son.
So this Fadel Education Foundation, your family started. Can you tell us a little bit more how and when you started the foundation?
Yeah, really, to start it in more or less like a family vacation. We were all together because both of them had finished college, and Ayman was, I think, in the last year of college. Mohammad finished, and he was in, I think, Virginia at the time, uh, or maybe University of Chicago, doing his PhD. That I'm not sure now. He can correct me. Anyway, we were vacationing together, and we started talking about. We have been my wife, myself, and primarily we were involved in the establishment of the Islam Society of Augusta here in Augusta. And by that time, in the early 1990s, we almost finished the project here and everything was stable. So we felt comfortable with what we have been doing locally. And we started thinking of that we should really start thinking of uh, providing service to the wider Muslim community. So the discussion was more whether we do it through educational, scholarship, or more even socio-economic development or something of that nature. Eventually, we decided on the educational or scholarship kind. So among ourselves, we started having a basic plan of what we want to do, and that was in October of 1992. 1992, like 28 years ago, basically. After we got the primary plan, we went to an attorney that specializes in estate and estate planning, basically, and tax law and so on. And then he did formulate for us a corporation and bylaws. So we already registered that in the state of Georgia. And a few months later, we did obtain the IRS tax exempt status. I would say it was recommended by this attorney and by our desire to be a private foundation. It's not a public foundation, it's a private foundation. With that construction, we, meaning the members of the family, myself, my wife, and Muhammad, and my other son, Ayman, will be the board of directors of that organization, and we will be responsible for funding and distributing the funds or dispersing the funds. That was the basic plan, and this is how we started. That was in 1993 when we started actually the operation of that organization by distribution of funds.
It's great to see such a leading example. You know, you helped your local community. You were thinking of the larger Muslim community. So, Mohammed, why don't you share a little bit more about, some of the community work that your family had done up to that point and why it was important to support the larger Muslim community across the country?
Well, I think as my father was saying, we moved to Augusta. We moved to Augusta in 1975. At that point in time, there was just a handful of Muslim families, and the original priority, of course, was to build a mosque, as my father was saying, and that project was completed sometime in the late 80s. And I think there was, the idea of what to do now. And when we started, actually, just to correct one important thing. The Fadel Educational Foundation, in its beginnings, was focusing mainly on helping students in the local community. So the first few years, although it wasn't exclusively limited to local community members, that was its core. and then it expanded gradually from there. And so after several years of operation, we began to receive applications from all over the country, alhamdulillah, right? So now it's, we do support students from all over the United States, although I think we still have, a probably disproportionate number of local applicants, just given the fact that, people know about it more easily and more directly in the community. But over the years, it grew to covering the entire, getting applicants from all over the United States. And I think the main motive was just the recognition that as a community develops, it needs to go beyond physical infrastructure and invest in its people. And that the most important thing that we needed to do was support the people of our community, help them become better, help themselves. And defraying the cost of education was really crucial given how expensive it is for most people.
Now, just in addition to the local community to begin with, we really were concentrating on Afro-American students, knowing that they are more underprivileged, quote unquote. So the only advertisement that we started putting was in the Muslim Journal. If you remember, the Muslim Journal was the Warith Deen Mohammad group. Maybe you don't remember that, or anyway, that was the only newspaper that we did put advertisement in. In addition to that, we put flyers in our mosque, obviously, and in the neighboring communities in Georgia. And then, Mohammed, you were in Virginia or in Chicago? I keep
I was in Chicago.
Chicago again. Like the mosque there, Ayman was in the Bloomington, Indiana. So again, that's what we started by just putting flyers in the different masajid and community centers. And but the only advertisement was in the Muslim Journal, and also MENA. If you remember MENA, Muslim Youth of North America, we did put sometime ads in the newsletters. But other than that, we have not done marketing, because as I mentioned to you, that primarily we wanted this to be our own funded organization. We did not really depend on external donations, or we did not want to rely on any external donations, so to be completely self-supporting, basically. The first year of operation, we granted, I believe, like 9,500 grants on dollars only. But from that time on, it kept increasing. Up to 2006, the average was about $60,000 a year.
Wow.
After that, it went to 70 to 80. This last year that we are in, the current year, is about 100,000. Like we're giving grants,
SubhanAllah.
inshallah. We already paid about 45 of them. The rest will come, because our fiscal year is from July 1st to June 30th, not the calendar year. So that was primarily the growth as he was describing. And we still try to get, as more diverse groups of students or applicants. And alhamdulillah, we are getting that kind of diversity.
That's really great to hear. For now, I see in the application that you've distributed over $1.5 million, which is really
actually it's 1.6 now.
1.6, subhanallah. That's really amazing. So congratulations on providing so much direct support to hundreds of scholarships. And I know as well some of the work that you're doing is through the Hartford Seminary's Islamic Chaplaincy Program. So do you want to talk a little bit about some of the different initiatives, whether it's some of the chaplains who are working in the prison system or work through Zaytuna College? What are some of the independent programs that you've helped support as well?
Yeah. Again, initially, I mentioned that we want to put some stress on the Afro-American community, and especially we thought of incarcerated Muslims, because that was a big chunk of people that we felt they are really underserved and wanting to know about Islam and knowledge and education. So originally we tried to do this directly to the prison system, but then we found this sort of logistic difficulties. And that at that time there was something called American Open University that is offering online courses. So we went through them, and they supplied the courses to the prisoners. This continued for about 5 or 6 years at least, maybe more. But then with the 9/11 and all the terror problems, restrictions were become very strict on providing any material to the prisoners. So in 2006, I believe we did decide to discontinue this program. From that point on, we turned our attention, okay, let's do to the Muslim chaplains that serve in the prisons. And that's what we got into contact with the Hartford Seminary. And we made the arrangement with them like to provide to them, I believe, $10,000 a year, and they can choose guarantees from their own chaplain or those who are really studying for being chaplains, particularly those are going to be or determined to be in the prison chaplaincy or to be prison chaplains. So that continued also until this moment, or this is continuing until now.
That's really great to hear. And, with all the support that you've given to some of the students and the applicants, Mohammed, can you share a little bit more about what it means to kind of help these students through their journey, whether it's undergrad, graduate school, or any other work that they're doing, and kind of seeing them grow in the community as well?
Well, I think it's very satisfying to us to be able to help Muslim students further their educational goals. As you know, education and learning is such a crucial feature, central feature about being Muslim. And there are so many obstacles that people face in achieving education, and so many of us sacrifice so much. I think it's very gratifying for our family to be able to help people achieve those goals. We don't try to sort of monitor what happens to them after they take our money. We don't have like some sort of sophisticated operation that solicits them for anything really. And so it's especially gratifying when we get notes from recipients, which we do from time to time, thanking us for the money that we gave them and that it really helped them achieve their goals, right? But
Right.
really, what we want to try to do is give a little bit of help to everybody and trying to achieve their goals, and hope that they will be able to give back to the community one way or the other.
So,
Yeah, I would add to that, if you don't
mhm.
mind, there are definitely some people who did achieve very important roles. And I think we did get a couple of letters, or actually 3 letters for references from example of these people. A couple of them became physicians and each are serving their own communities in different ways, but very favorably. The other one is from one of the programs that we not support the program itself, but the physician that we supported through his medical school became really, he's now a professor actually in medical school of Wisconsin, medical college of Wisconsin it's called. And he has a program called Initiative on Islam and Medicine. He specializes, or his special interest is the medical ethics as related to Islam and Islamic biomedical ethics specifically. And so he is like one of the better known people that did finish our program and is contributing very positively to the Islamic community here, both from the research point of view and also for the patient health care. Like Muslim patients need special needs for health care, and he's trying very hard to develop some kind of programs, research work, and so on. And as a matter of fact, I don't want to keep talking. We continue to support him, not from the Fadel Education Foundation now, but as part of this program.
That's really great to see some of the work that the recipients have done over the years and continue to do.
Right.
At this time, I'd like to ask if there's anything else that you'd like to share about the Fadel Education Foundation, maybe the application process, how people can apply and learn more, and just anything about the nomination itself.
Well, we do have a website. I think it's I don't know the address.
Fadelfoundation.org.
And so the application process is pretty straightforward. I don't think it's very complicated. Um, the size of the grants typically is not extremely high. I think maybe the maximum we give is around $4,000. But I think for most students, particularly the ones that we're trying to seek, that $4,000 is meaningful assistance.
Yeah, definitely.
And we encourage qualified students to apply. We prioritize our grant giving to undergraduates and people who need the money, right? And so if you fall in that category, we hope that you apply.
Yeah, obviously, I also like to add that we have a plan, inshallah, to continue this for the long term. It's not like
Inshallah.
for next few years and that's over. Uh, in addition to obviously donating to these funds to give the money to the students or direct scholarships, we have been, myself and my wife primarily, are doing a couple of things that continue to ensure the continuity. Number one, for example, we have in our wills a certain amount of money going to the foundation.
That's
We have
great.
special insurance policies that the money will go to the foundation. Number three, we have developed what we call charitable remainder trust. I guess you know
Wonderful.
what it is.
Yeah.
The same thing that after our death, the money will go to the foundation. So our plan, inshallah, that it will continue long after our death. It's not depending on our being around and giving money every year. So that's the main thing, because obviously my wife's motive was, and we know that the hadith say that the best thing that happens to the person after he dies, everything else ends. What remains is ongoing charity, sadaqah jariyah,
Right.
and knowledge that benefits people, and obviously progeny that continues to supplicate for him and her. Uh, obviously, not obviously, but hopefully, that we are doing two of the three items, that we are giving sadaqah jariyah and knowledge that will benefit others. So that is sort of our goal.
I'm really glad that you mentioned all of that, because these are ways that the entire Muslim community can learn from the Fadel Education Foundation as an example to really motivate families to prepare their estate plans and wills and include trusts and donor advised funds and foundations and life insurance policies and IRA beneficiaries, all of those things into their plans. And in Islam, you can leave up to 1/3 of your
Right.
estate to charity. So I think it's great that you're leading by example, and really fortunate to have the Fadel Education Foundation in the community, supporting the community. So again, congratulations on your nomination. We're really excited to host you at the event and have more people learn about the Fadel Education Foundation.
Okay, thank you. I just want to one more note
Of course.
that we have. I have to remind you or remind people that my wife shares everything I'm doing. She could
Alhamdulillah.
not come on this podcast with you today, but definitely she is a significant part of whatever we are doing.
We're really
And,
grateful to,
and she is, as I said, she is a retired physician also.
mashallah.
So alhamdulillah, we were able to do all these things together.
That's really sweet, and looking forward to learning more about you and your family. So again, our annual symposium is on November 14th. We highly encourage you to attend to learn more about the Fadel Education Foundation and so many great causes and people that have been nominated for the Muslim Philanthropy Awards. Jazakallah khair for joining, and Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.